Grounding bushings are required on the connectors when using metallic liquid-tight conduit and is not deemed an effective ground path. The reason is because liquid-tight conduit, while metallic, may not provide a consistently low impedance path back to the source in the event of a fault. This is critical for ensuring that overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, operate quickly and effectively to clear the fault. The purpose of a grounding bushing is to provide a supplementary grounding connection, ensuring a low impedance path for fault current. The grounding bushing is typically bonded to a grounding electrode conductor, which then connects back to the main grounding system. In the described scenario, a 1 and 1/4-inch metallic liquid-tight conduit runs from a 400 amp panel to a 100 amp sub-panel, a distance of 5 feet. The conductors inside are 3 number 3 wires and 1 number 8 equipment grounding conductor egg. Given this setup, the metal conduit itself is not considered an effective ground path, hence the need for grounding bushings. The National Electrical Code, NEC, outlines the requirements for grounding and bonding. Although the specific sections might change with different editions of the NEC, generally speaking, Article 250 covers grounding and bonding requirements. It specifies when metal raceways, such as conduit, are permitted to serve as the equipment grounding conductor and when supplementary means are required. Section 250.4 discusses the requirements for establishing an effective ground fault current path. This path must be permanent and continuous, have adequate carrying capacity to conduct safely any fault current likely to be imposed on it, and have sufficiently low impedance to limit the voltage to ground and to facilitate the operation of the overcurrent protective devices in the circuit. Metallic liquid-tight conduit may not consistently meet the low impedance requirement, especially over longer runs or when connections are not properly tightened. Section 250.96 pertains to bonding other enclosures. It requires that metal raceways, cable armor, and other metal enclosures for conductors be bonded to ensure electrical continuity and the capacity to conduct safely any fault current likely to be imposed on them. Grounding bushings are used to provide this bonding connection. The size of the equipment grounding conductor is determined by Section 250.122, which relates the size of the EGC to the rating of the overcurrent protective device protecting the circuit. In this case, the 400 amp panel is feeding the 100 amp sub-panel. The equipment grounding conductor size must be adequate for the 400 amp overcurrent device in the main panel. Referring to NEC Table 250.122 for a 400 amp overcurrent protective device, a minimum number 3 copper EGC is typically required. The provided number 8 EGC is undersized for the 400 amp overcurrent protection. It must be verified that the number 8 EGC is permissible based on the 100 amp sub-panel overcurrent protection. The grounding bushings themselves must be properly sized for the conduit and securely connected to the grounding electrode conductor. The grounding electrode conductor should be sized according to NEC Table 250.66 based on the size of the ungrounded conductors feeding the 100 amp sub-panel. Since 3 number 3 conductors are present, the grounding electrode conductor will likely need to be at least a number 6 copper or a number 4 aluminum. Insulation practices are also crucial. The grounding bushings must be installed tightly to ensure a good electrical connection. Any paint or non-conductive coating should be removed from the conduit where the bushing makes contact. The grounding electrode conductor should be connected to the bushing using approved methods, such as compression connectors or exothermic welding. In summary, grounding bushings are required in this scenario to supplement the metallic liquid-tight conduit as an equipment grounding conductor. This ensures a low impedance fault current path, promoting the quick operation of overcurrent protection devices and enhancing electrical safety. It is essential to refer to the latest edition of the NEC and local amendments for specific requirements and to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. To elaborate on the installation process and NEC requirements, firstly, inspect the liquid-tight conduit to ensure it is approved for grounding purposes. Some types of liquid-tight conduit are not listed for grounding, so it is important to verify the markings on the conduit itself. Secondly, select the appropriate grounding bushings for the size of the conduit. The bushings must be listed for grounding and compatible with the conduit type. Thirdly, prepare the conduit ends by removing any burrs or sharp edges that could damage the conductors or prevent a good electrical connection. Fourthly, clean the conduit surface where the grounding bushing will make contact. Remove any paint, corrosion, or other non-conductive coatings. Fifthly, install the grounding bushings and the conduit ends, ensuring they are securely tightened. Use a wrench to tighten the bushings to the manufacturer's recommended torque. Sixthly, connect the equipment grounding conductor to the grounding bushings. Use listed connectors such as grounding lugs or compression connectors. Seventhly, torque the connectors to the manufacturer's specifications to ensure a reliable electrical connection. Eighthly, verify the continuity of the grounding path using a multimeter or continuity tester. Measure the resistance between the grounding bushings and the main grounding system to ensure a low impedance connection. Ninthly, document the grounding system. Keep records of the grounding bushing type, size, and location. This information will be helpful for future inspections and maintenance. Tenthly, follow all applicable safety procedures when working with electrical equipment. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. De-energize the circuit before working on the grounding system. Furthermore, let's discuss some potential issues and troubleshooting tips. Firstly, loose connections are a common cause of grounding problems. Inspect all connections to ensure they are tight and secure. Secondly, corrosion can also affect the grounding system. Clean any corrosive connections and apply a corrosion inhibitor. Thirdly, undersized grounding conductors can limit the effectiveness of the grounding system. Verify that the equipment grounding conductor is properly sized according to NEC Table 250.122. Fourthly, improper installation of grounding bushings can also cause problems. Ensure the bushings are properly installed and tightened. Fifthly, damaged conduit can compromise the grounding path. Inspect the conduit for any signs of damage and replace it if necessary. Sixthly, high impedance grounding paths can prevent the overcurrent protection devices from operating properly. Use a multimeter to measure the impedance of the grounding path. Seventhly, ground loops can create unwanted current flow and noise. Isolate the grounding system to eliminate ground loops. Eighthly, shared neutral conductors can also cause grounding problems. Ensure that the neutral and equipment grounding conductors are properly separated. Ninthly, improper grounding of sensitive electronic equipment can cause malfunctions. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for grounding sensitive equipment. Tenthly, poor documentation can make it difficult to troubleshoot grounding problems. Keep accurate records of the grounding system and any modifications. The NEC provides additional guidance on grounding and bonding in Article 250. This article covers topics such as grounding electrode systems, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding of metal enclosures. It is important to consult the NEC for specific requirements and to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In addition to the NEC, local codes and regulations may also apply. Check with your local electrical inspector to determine any additional requirements for grounding and bonding. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. By following the NEC and local codes, you can ensure that your electrical system is properly grounded and bonded, protecting people and property from electrical hazards. It's also important to understand the role of the equipment grounding conductor, or EG. The EGC is a critical safety component in electrical systems, providing a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This low impedance path allows overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, to quickly trip and to energize the circuit in the event of a ground fault. Without an effective EGC, fault current may flow through unintended paths, such as metal enclosures or equipment frames, creating a shock hazard. The NEC specifies the requirements for sizing and installing the EGC. The size of the EGC is based on the rating of the overcurrent protective device protecting the circuit, as outlined in NEC Table 250.122. The EGC must be installed in the same raceway or cable as the circuit conductors. It must be connected to all metal enclosures, equipment frames, and other conductive parts that are likely to become energized in the event of a ground fault. In the case of metallic liquid-tight conduit, the conduit itself may not be considered an effective EGC, especially over longer runs or when connections are not properly tightened. This is why grounding bushings are required to supplement the conduit as an EGC. The grounding bushings provide a low-impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, ensuring that the overcurrent protection devices operate quickly and effectively. It's also important to understand the difference between grounding and bonding. Grounding refers to connecting the electrical system to the earth, typically through a grounding electrode system. This helps to stabilize the voltage of the electrical system and provide a reference point for fault current. Bonding refers to connecting together all metal enclosures, equipment frames, and other conductive parts to create a low-impedance path for fault current. Bonding ensures that all conductive parts are at the same potential, reducing the risk of shock. Both grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. They work together to provide a comprehensive system of protection against electrical hazards. In summary, grounding bushings are required when using metallic liquid-tight conduit as a raceway for electrical conductors because the conduit itself may not provide a consistently low impedance path for fault current. The grounding bushings supplement the conduit as an equipment grounding conductor, ensuring that overcurrent protection devices operate quickly and effectively in the event of a ground fault. This enhances electrical safety and protects people and property from electrical hazards. Always refer to the latest edition of the NEC and local codes for specific requirements and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. Additionally, it's crucial to understand the testing and maintenance procedures for grounding systems to ensure their continued effectiveness. Periodic testing can identify potential issues such as loose connections, corrosion, or undersized conductors. Ground impedance testing is a common method used to verify the integrity of the grounding system. This test measures the resistance between the grounding electrode and remote earth. A low resistance reading indicates a good grounding connection, while a high resistance reading suggests a problem with the grounding system. Continuity testing is another important procedure. This test verifies the continuity of the equipment grounding conductor, ensuring that it provides a low impedance path for fault current. Visual inspection should also be conducted regularly. Look for signs of corrosion, loose connections, or damaged conductors. Any issues should be addressed promptly to maintain the effectiveness of the grounding system. Proper maintenance of grounding systems can prevent electrical hazards and ensure the safety of people and property. It's recommended to establish a regular maintenance schedule that includes testing, inspection, and repair. Consult with a qualified electrician to develop a maintenance plan that is appropriate for your specific electrical system. Furthermore, it's beneficial to explore advanced grounding techniques used in specific applications. For example, isolated grounding systems are often used in sensitive electronic equipment to minimize noise and interference. These systems provide a separate grounding path for the equipment, isolating it from the general building grounding system. Another advanced technique is the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs. GFCIs are designed to protect people from electrical shock by detecting small imbalances in current flow. When a ground fault is detected, the GFCI quickly trips and energizes the circuit, preventing a potentially fatal shock. GFCIs are required in many locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. They provide an additional layer of protection against electrical hazards. In conclusion, grounding bushings are a critical component in electrical systems using metallic liquid-tight conduit. They ensure a low impedance path for fault current, promoting the quick operation of overcurrent protection devices and enhancing electrical safety. Understanding the NEC requirements, installation practices, testing procedures, and advanced techniques is essential for maintaining a safe and effective grounding system. Always consult with a qualified electrician to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations and to develop a maintenance plan that is appropriate for your specific electrical system. Remember, electrical safety is paramount, and proper grounding is a fundamental aspect of ensuring that safety.